Thank you so much for buying this tutorial. I'm really excited to show you how to make black background pictures to display your super cool leaves like this alocasia. It's a great way to celebrate new leaves and colors and show them off to your community, and I really hope that you get something out of it. Don't hesitate to reach out to me with questions, or if you're not sure how to do something, I'm always happy to help. Cheers! Some are easier than others to create, and what I don't do is edit the photos in a way that changes the color of the leaf or the flower. I know it may look like it, but honestly, these plants are so vibrant that the colors just really pop. And you can see from like having my hand or Cole's hand in the pictures that they don't, I'm not changing my skin color, I'm not changing the flower itself. Everything is as I took the picture of. Now, that's not to say I don't remove some small blemishes on these beautiful photos, or bump up the contrast or anything like that, and I will teach you how to do all of that in this video. Okay, so the first thing I do is find a plant that I want to take a picture of. There's lots of beautiful plants in here, variegated leaves, but I like to change it up and not do the same thing over and over again. For example, here is my beautiful variegated alocasia bambino, and so this leaf looks like a great one to take a shot with. And what I'm going to do is make sure I have good lighting, and then I'm going to position the plant to make sure the light is shining on the leaf I want in a way that it's not too reflective, but also I can see all the colors naturally. It's really important to use daylight or grow lights and not yellow incandescent lights or at night, because otherwise your photo won't turn out and we won't be able to edit it in a way that you want the leaf to look. The one exception to this is if you have an iridescent begonia like a Sarawak. Those you can take pictures of at night with a flash to get the colors to really pop, but that's not normally what we do here. So I like to put my hand sometimes on leaves to show the size. It's better when my nails are done, but what I'm going to do is take my nice picture here, have it lined up as best as I can how I want it to be. The goal is to do as little editing as possible afterwards. I'm also going to take one without my hand holding it because I don't necessarily want my hand in this picture, but I am going to do this because it helps my phone focus on the leaf itself, so that when I edit it in a bit, I'll be able to take that leaf out easier. There we go. Once I have a photo that I'm happy with, and I think in this case you can really see the colors of the leaf, and it's not too bright, not too dark, and not too shiny, because highlights can also screw up photos, we're ready to go. I am, however, going to give it a little bit of editing before I do anything, so I'm going to go up to the edit button on my photo album, and then I'm just going to go ahead and click auto and see what it does. That's pretty nice. I don't need to change much. I might go over here to the right to my exposure and bump it up just a little bit to increase the brightness. I don't actually use the brightness button because I think that kind of messes with the coloring. I like to just do exposure so that more light is included in the photo. And then sometimes I go over here to vibrance, not saturation, vibrance, and I might click that up a little, see what it does. Okay, I like that. It didn't change much. It doesn't change the true nature of the photo, but it does show off the colors in a way that I can really see them. The last thing I'm going to do is go down here to crop, and I'm going to go up here to the top right, and I'm going to click on the shape 4:5 because I believe that's what the Instagram portrait photos are. And I'm going to zoom in and adjust this photo until I have it centered on where I would like it to show up. This is just, you can do this later, but it's also nice to do it now so that I have it ready to go, and that when I remove the background, I can pop it right onto Instagram and have it show up the way I want it to. Okay, this photo is ready. So once I have my photo the way I want it, it's now time to remove the background. Now there's a lot of apps that do this, including iPhone itself. If you hold your hand on the picture, you can then take out this piece of it, but that's not what I like to do. I like to use this app called Picsart. So you can get this on the App Store. You can have it free. You don't have to pay for anything to be able to use it. And what I do is I click on See All to see all my photos, and then I click on the photo I want to use, which is this one. And I scroll down on this bottom bar over until I get to remove background. Let's see what it does, and that's pretty good. It's not bad. Those are going to be easy to edit out. Some photos are really complicated and it takes a long time to edit out other pieces of it, and some are fairly easy. This one's kind of in the middle. So then down at the bottom, I hit the black color so that I have a black background, and it looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and click on the download button up here in the top right, saving it. It's now been saved to my photos, so I can just hit close. And I'm going to go over to Lightroom, another app, to remove these other pieces that I don't want. So I go over to Lightroom, and there's some baby pictures of me. Don't mind those. I was making a funny reel. So I'm going to click on the photo, and now I have it pulled up in Lightroom. So what I want to do is go down to the bottom bar right here, and I'm gonna click on healing. Now I can make sure that I have it on clone because you can put it on heal or clone. But for my purposes, I'm trying to replace pieces of leaf with background, so I want to clone it and not just heal it, if that makes sense. And I can also adjust my brush size up and down. This just takes a little bit of playing until you learn what works for you. So I have it on this medium kind of size, and what I'm going to do is just start erasing. I start with big strokes for things like this so that I can just have it a large chunk taken out at a time. And what you can see here is that this is where I erased, and so I can move and adjust what I chose as an erasing portion. And then over here on the left side of the arrow is what is actually replacing that with. So I want to move this left side until I have it in somewhere black so that it mostly covers the chunk that I chose to take out. Now it's not perfect because sometimes the app just works this way or you have to do it a couple different times. It's no biggie. I'm going to hit done. I've now done a piece of it, so I'll just continue to do that. I'm zooming in because it's easier to get close to these nice edges when I do that. And I can still adjust my brush size. We're going to keep it around here though because I want to get in close to my hand here. So I use my finger and I drag it along the line. It's not quite perfect, but I'm going to go to maybe right here, get it over my finger, and then I'll just continue to take out the rest of it. And this time, when I drag over my cloning piece, it looks pretty good. That's not bad. Now I did go over my hand a little bit, but I'm not here for perfection. I just want it to look good and like it has a black background. So I hit done. So let's continue to fix this. Up here it's a little bit tighter, so I zoom way in and I'm going to adjust my brush again. And I'm now going to go like this, down and around, and take out this piece. Put it up here, boom. Now there's a little section right here that I think is part of the leaf, but it kind of looks like it's not. So what I might do is come in and do some further editing, really zoomed in, and do this. And now I have, move my U, there we go. Now it looks more natural. Oops, I just dragged my finger across and created this little portion. That's all right. All I have to do is go down to the bottom and hit the delete button and it goes away. Oh my gosh, I did it again. So I've now gotten rid of most of it. However, I want to go up here and do a little bit more. Click on healing again. And I'm going to do this, start with my big pieces like we talked about, and see if I have space. I don't. So sometimes what happens is if you do too big of a piece and you don't have enough of a background to work with for copying, you have to start a little bit smaller. So I'm going to hit delete because that one didn't really work. And I'm going to do a little bit of a smaller piece. I'm going to do this. And now when I drag over my cloning, I can get most of that covered without an issue. There we go. Keep on working. You can imagine that when I do this with plants that have fenestration, it takes a while because there's a lot of holes. This one's not too bad. I'm going to do right here. Oops. I'm going to do right here. And now I'm doing this on my phone with my finger. I find that the easiest. You can, of course, also do this on your computer, although I don't know if Picsart's on the computer, but Lightroom is. All right, I'm not happy with that. I'm going to delete it because I took out a bit of the edge of the leaf and I didn't want that. So I'm going to zoom in tighter, try again. Okay. That's all right, a little bit more. Now something I can do here is I can go down here and click on the button feather, and I can increase the feather up or down. You can kind of see what's happening here. When it's increased, the edges are blurry, which is kind of nice for keeping a natural feel. If I lower it down here, you can see how it gets really sharp, and that doesn't look natural anymore. That looks like I cropped it. So I'm going to leave it right around here in this medium fuzzy zone. All right. Now that looks like a pretty sweet black background photo to me. So I am done with healing. I'm going to hit this check mark at the bottom. And what I'm going to do is export this to my phone. So I'm going to go up here to the top right and click on this box with an arrow and save to camera roll. All right, now it's been exported. So I'm going to go down to my photos. And actually, you know what? Hold on. I just exported it, but I want to show you how you can heal things if you want. So I mentioned this earlier, I don't actually change the photos that much. I don't like to change anything and make it look fake. I prefer to have the natural leaf the way it is, but sometimes it might have like a piece of soil on it, or there might be a blemish. That's just not cool for like a photo that I want to display on Instagram. So what I do is I go in and let's pretend that Now this is coloring from the leaf, which is awesome, but I'm going to pretend that this little dot right here is something I don't want on the leaf. I'm going to go back down to healing, and I'm going to switch from clone over to heal, and I'm going to drag it a little bit smaller because you don't want this to be big. And I'm just going to brush over it really quick, and boom. Now that's not a perfect replication, but what it did is it made it look like it was part of the leaf, and when you zoom back out, you can't see that at all. So remember, when you're zoomed in, it might not seem perfect, but by zooming out, you can see that my overall photo is great, and I can't even tell where I did that. Okay, so now I've exported my photo. I'm gonna go into my photos and check it out. There it is, looks great. Now I'm gonna give it one more edit of just a little auto, see what it does. I'm gonna hit auto again. That changed the coloring, I don't like that. Okay, I'm gonna turn off auto and leave it the way it is, it looks nice. So now what I do is I go over to my Instagram, and I like to post this every third photo. If you don't know, this account started out as a plant account for me because I have an Etsy shop of collector plants, and it's kind of morphed more into our homestead, chicken lifestyle and all that. But I still like to show off my plants now and then. So what I've been doing is doing these black background photos every third photo just to show off new leaves and things I find fascinating, and I can't stop doing it. This is an example actually of an iridescent begonia. I had this in a dark closet and took a picture with my phone with a flash to make sure I got the colors really popping. Without the flash, the iridescence doesn't show up, and it's actually more of like a dark blue-green plant. Okay, back to what I was doing. So, I'm sure you know how to post a photo, but just in case, we're gonna go up to the top right and hit this plus button, and then I'm gonna hit post, and then I'm gonna choose my photo. There it is. Now you remember that we had cropped it to the 3:4 aspect ratio early on, and this is why I did it, because now my photo already fits perfectly. I don't have to adjust anything. If you don't know, I had this expanded out. You can click on this little bottom left button and do the traditional Instagram square. However, if you expand it out to the portrait size, this takes up more of people's screens when they look at it, and it's a better way to grab their attention, and also just looks better really for most photos. So then I click next, and let's give it an edit, see what they think. It's not bad. I kind of changed and made it a little bit darker. I'm gonna leave it, I like that. Hit done, next, and then I go ahead and type my caption and I share my photo because that's what I like to do. And that's that. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it's been helpful. And the question is, do we take a picture of this orchid? Yeah, I think so.